this is Vi from Scrappy Mania, and today I'm going to show you how to create these lovely little flowers. And this is a rose, and it has some dimension on there. Now, I did in another tutorial, I showed you how to create these flowers, as you can see here. And what I did is I have some glitter spray paint, and I used that to create a little bit of sheen on these roses, as you can see there. So these were created with a heart shape, so I have a Fisker cutter, and I just traced this out and cut it out of cardstock and used that to cut my petals. So this time I wanted to use some of these stamps. Now this stamp is for Inkadikadoo, and it's the stamping gear, and I wanted to use this to create my petals. Okay, and that's what I did. I stamped the large one for the bottom, and then I stamped the medium one for the inside petals. And then what I did is, these are leftover heart-shaped petals that I created with my first project, and I used this stamp to just give it a little bit of texture there. As you can see, it just has, it just will be the one for the middle. Okay. So these cup is what you're going to use to form the flower. So once you color it, okay, so once you put the color on, you let it dry. So I have a hair dryer, and I know that a hair dryer, and I've noticed that a hair dryer is a lot better for these type of roses instead of a heat tool, because it's not as hot, and it still will dry your paper very well. So once that your paper is nice and dry, you're going to take your stamp, you're going to use archival ink, okay, and then just cut it out. And that's I already did that. I cut all my flowers out. And once you have cut it out, you're going to take some heavy starch, and you're just going to put some starch, not a lot, because these flowers are very, or this paper is very delicate, so you don't really want to drench it. You're going to put it in the cup and just give it some form. And the good thing about the starch, it kind of sticks to the cup, and it gives it form, plus it makes it a lot stiffer. So once it's done, and see how nice it comes out, I love that texture and that shape. And do the same thing here. Okay, so I have my glue gun ready. So what I'm going to do, and you're going to need a circle, and you're going to need your tweezers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the large one. Okay. I start with the large one first, and then I'm going to make sure I put them very close. So I start with my largest petal. It's going to be at the bottom, or the first row that I create. And I'm just going to go around that circle, making sure that fill in the gaps. And then after I do one row of petals, then I'm going to go and get my medium-sized petals, and then I'm going to put them in between any gaps of the larger petals. You can see there. And I actually do 2 rows of the medium-sized petals. Now I'm ready to create the center bud. Okay, and actually I might put another row. Let me go ahead and put another row. And then here I'm filling the second row of medium-sized petals, just to make the flower fuller. So see how pretty that is? Now I'm ready to create the center bud. So now I'm ready to create the bud. So what you want to do is you're just going to take the smallest of the petal, and you're just going to roll it. See how I kind of roll it together to create a nice little tight bud. And then I'm going to glue that. And then from that bud, I'm going to add petals to it until I get a nice little rosette. And I'm sorry that I'm off camera and I'm not zooming in, but there's a lot of tutorials how to create these little rose buds, and you're just going to keep adding your small petal, and then you go to the next size petal, and then the next size petal. I have actually five different sizes of petals, so I go from the smallest to the largest in this the little bud. Okay, so I created a bud. Now we are going to glue that bud right in the center, right there. But I want to make it a little flat. I want it to lay there. So I'm going to cut the tips off. Then I'm going to put a lot of glue in the center. And then I'm going to place it down. And there's my flower. And see how pretty that is? Very nice. So I hope you liked this video on how to create these lovely flowers with your Inkadinkado stamp, the petal stamp. And you can do it with any kind of stamp that has a petal, that it's a form of a petal. You can also make these kind of flowers with just a simple heart shape. And you can also just cut it out yourself. I mean, look, that's not a hard shape to do. You can really do these by yourself without a use of a die or anything like that. So I hope you like it. Thank you for watching. Bye now.